who's from Sri Lanka originally, and he's living right now in Anaheim Sri Ratana Buddhist Center, the temple. He's take care there, everything when there is abbot, which is Venerable Sumana, is in Sri Lanka right now. And Venerable Khemananda was here one time earlier, giving the special talk, and he's back again today. He was in graduate Sri Lanka and Thailand both, his doctorate in Thailand. And he's going to talk today the Sila, or we call morality, displaying, something like that. So Venerable, you have time, almost more than half hour, around half hour, so you can talk.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa sile patittaya naro sapanyo cittang panyancha bhavayeti. Good morning, Venerable Sirs, friends in the Dhamma. Today I am very happy to be here for the second time. Before a few weeks, our Venerable Vinita asked me to come here, and then I asked what should be the topic to give a little Dhamma talk. So he said it is better to give a Dhamma talk on morality. So today I am going to give a very short Dhamma talk regarding the morality with reference to a particular sutta that elaborated by the Buddha. So the name of the sutta is mentioned as Sila Sutta. Actually, the Sanskrit term Sutra, I think very familiar with you, but the Pali term Sutta, the same meaning. As mentioned by Venerable Santi, the Sila, the English term, we use the morality. So, in terms of Buddhist, morality does a vital role in the spiritual way. Indeed, this sutta was delivered by the Buddha directly for his disciple, in other words, for the monks. Once the Buddha was living in a certain place, and he addressed his disciple and began to explain the importance of practicing morality. So, and the role and the vital role of the Buddhist monk. So, I think everybody knows here, Buddha passed away how many years ago? Sakyamuni Buddha? How many years ago? Yeah, 2,600 years ago he passed away. He was born in India and passed away in India. Even after his demise, after 2,600 years, his teaching is available for everyone around the world. What is the reason behind this matter? What is the reason? What is the reason? Buddha passed away. In order to survive, in order to preserve his teaching, there is a very important reason. The reason is the role of the Buddhist monk. So, we are both Theravada and Mahayana monks. So, our Venerable Kusala, he is doing many efforts in order to spread the teaching of the Buddha. Now, every corner of this planet, the teaching of the Buddha is available because of the Buddhist disciple. Buddhist monks are doing very important role in order to give the essence of the teaching of the Buddha to the people. So, in this sutta, at the very beginning, he explained Dassanam. Dassana means the seeing or appearance of the Buddhist monk who endowed with Sila means the morality. And the second thing, Samadhi. What is the meaning of Samadhi? Samadhi means the concentration. And the third one, Prajna. Prajna means the wisdom. And the next one, Vimukti. Vimukti means the liberation. And the knowledge of liberation. If some monks have those 5 qualities, 5 attributes, the appearance of such kind of Buddhist monk is very rare according to the teaching of the Buddha. So, the devotee of the Buddhist monk is to elaborate, is to explain the teaching of the Buddha for the general people. So, right now, I am saying something, you are hearing something. I am doing the role of the Buddhist monk, you are doing the role of the general people. So, this is the thing was happening during last 2600 years. So, now currently, this is happening. In the future also this will be happen. So the role of the Buddhist monk is very important in terms of Buddhism. So in the next step, the Buddha explained why the role of the Buddhist monk is very important. Because of the teaching of the Buddha, not just to hear, not just to explain. If I just explain the teaching of the Buddha, it is useless. If you just hear the teaching of the Buddha, that's so useless. Then what is the importance of elaborating and hearing the teaching of the Buddha? Can you guess?
Practice.
Yeah, practice is very important. Why we practice the teaching of the Buddha? Why we are practicing the teaching of the Buddha? Just to kill the time? No.
To end suffering.
End suffering.
Sorry?
End suffering.
Yeah, end the suffering. We want to live successfully, and one day we are expecting the end of the suffering. In other terms, we call the liberation. So, even I am the person who explained the teaching of the Buddha. I have to practice it. I have to live happily, and one day I have to come to the end. I have to get the liberation. You are hearing, that's not enough. You have to practice it. You have to apply the teaching of the Buddha in day-to-day life, and one day you have to get the liberation. So I think not only today you are hearing the Dhamma. Maybe last week, maybe last month, last year, during last time, sometimes you have heard numerous Dhamma talk. Can you remember at least one of them? Can you remember at least one of them? Or can you focus at least some very important doctrinal matter from what you heard during last time? Sometimes it is very, very difficult because of we have to do lot of activities. But in the next step, the Buddha explained the 7 factors of enlightenment. Have you heard the 7 factors of enlightenment? Have you heard? No, yeah. Yeah, maybe you have heard in another way. In Pali we call the Satta Bojjhanga, the Bodhi Anga. Bodhi means, what is the meaning of Bodhi? Bodhi means the enlightenment. What is the meaning of the Buddha? Buddha means the person who already awakened, who already became to enlightenment. Bodhi means there are some factors directly relevant with our enlightenment. So that there is a very good combination between hearing Dhamma, practicing Dhamma and the enlightenment. So the 7 factors of enlightenment very important, and they connected each other. The first one of them is called Sati Sambojjhanga. Sometimes you know the meaning of Sati. Satipatthana Sutta. Have you heard Satipatthana Sutta? What is the meaning of Satipatthana? Satipatthana means the mindfulness. No? You know this term, no? Mindfulness. Satipatthana means how to keep the mindfulness. So the first factor is called Sati Sambojjhanga. Sati means the mindfulness. So that's why I asked, can you remember at least one of Dhamma talks that you heard during the last time, no? So that's why the mindfulness is very important. The mindfulness isn't mean sitting like this. Mindfulness means we have to do each and every activity mindfully. When we write something, when we speak to someone, when we drive the car, when we do any kind of action, we have to do it mindfully. In the same way, we should be able to remember the doctrinal matters, whatever we heard before. So today you are hearing, maybe in the afternoon or tomorrow you should be able to remember at least one of them. So that's why the mindfulness is very important. No? Mostly in Theravada tradition, we practice the mindfulness meditation. But somebody really doesn't know what is the meaning of the mindfulness. So the Buddha mentioned, you have to hear the doctrine from the Buddha. No? Buddha already passed away, now not available the Buddha, but his disciples available. Now you are able to hear, discuss doctrinal matters with the disciple of the Buddha. So after discussing, after hearing, you have to remember it. That's why the mindfulness is very important. So the second factor is mentioned as Dhamma Vichaya. I think you know the meaning of Dharma, no? What is the meaning of Dharma? Dharma means the teaching of the Buddha. And the Vichaya means critically we have to understand it. In Vimansaka Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha said to his disciple, don't accept immediately my teaching, nor blind faith in Buddhism. So Buddha mentioned, you have to criticize my doctrine. After criticizing, if you think this one good or this one not good, then you can decide it. If you think the teaching of the Buddha is good, you can accept it. Otherwise, you can reject it. This happened even in the time of the Buddha. Some people came with lot of problems, lot of questions, and very warm arguments with the Buddha. And the Buddha explained in numerous ways the reality. Some people immediately accepted because of they knew the value of the Buddha. Some people, even in the presence of the Buddha, they rejected. Oh, it may be, but I don't like it. They said, I don't like your teaching. Then the Buddha said, accepting or rejecting is your job. That is not the job of me. In the same way, the Buddha mentioned that you have to criticize the teaching of the Buddha. After thorough criticizing, you can accept or reject my teaching. Sometimes you have heard the Kalam Sutta. Have you heard the Kalam Sutta? once the Buddha visited a certain village. The name of the village was Kala. Before arrival of the Buddha, there had been visited numerous religious leaders. They emphasized this is the only right thing. This is the only way. They made enforcement to accept their teachings. So once the Buddha visited there, the Buddha and explained. So this is the situation. We are really confused. Then Buddha explained, if you think my teaching is correct or wrong, then you can accept or reject. So this sutta very nicely explain the religious freedom in how the attitude of the Buddha towards some people. So according to this sutta, the investigation of Dhamma is very important, because of some people just follow any kind of religion, any kind of faith without any investigation. So Buddha always emphasizes his disciple, you have to do the investigation. After that, you can accept or reject my teaching. And now the first one is mindfulness, second one is investigation, third one is the virya. Virya means in Sanskrit virya. Have you heard virya? Virya means the effort. Virya means the effort. Effort is very important. After hearing the teaching, you have to remember it. After remembering, you have to investigate whether this one right or wrong, whether this one suitable or not. Then after that, you have to make effort. No, today you are making effort. How? Practicing meditation, hearing more teaching of the Buddha. So you have to do always effort, otherwise you cannot achieve the liberation. You cannot come to the end. Sometimes you have heard the biography of the Buddha. No? Before enlightenment, he practiced how many years? 6 years. He practiced 6 years rigorous practice, because of he practiced different ways in order to achieve the enlightenment. In the same way, we have to always practice. We have to hear the teaching of the hear the Dhamma talk and practice meditation. There are numerous ways, and we can do a lot of meritorious action in order to bring the happiness, and then those definitely relevant with our liberation. So always we have to make effort. For example, by the time of the Buddha, very rich person entered the order, and he wanted to bring the liberation quickly. Then day and night he began to meditate. He practiced meditation. So he got wounded in the soles and blood coming right now. Then once the Buddha visited there and he saw blood everywhere. Then he asked other monks, what kind of person is practicing meditation here? Then they said that aristocrat, no, very rich person entered, then he is practicing. Then the Buddha really admired the effort of that monk, because of without effort we cannot do anything. No, suppose a child go to a school. No, if he just go to the school and sit on the chair and evening come back, no homework, what happen? Can he get the higher marks, higher grade? Nothing. Now he has to go to the school and maybe he has to talk to with the teacher and question, answers, and when he came back home, he had to do lot of homeworks. No, lot of effort to be done. Otherwise, he cannot get good result. In the same way, when we practice, when we are in the spiritual path, we have to do lot of things, otherwise nothing, no? We cannot bring liberation quickly. So that is the third one, no? Mindfulness, investigation, the effort, and then the fourth one is piti. Piti means the rapture. When you hear the doctrine, no, sometimes you are able to forget something, and when you remember the teaching of the Buddha, you are able to forget something. When you practice the teaching of the Buddha, when you make the effort to achieve the spirituality, then the happiness come to your mind. Doesn't it come to your mind when you practice meditation? No. Normally we practice meditation. Why? What is the reason? No.
Calm the mind.
Calm the mind. Why we have to calm the mind? Because of no calm in the mind. No, like a wild buffalo, our mind. Then we have to calm the mind. When the calmness comes to our mind, then the rapture, we are happy. No? If we have to worry, then no happiness, no joy in our mind. So the Buddha mentioned, when the calmness, when the joy comes to mind of someone, really his physical body also in the good state. Now when we see the faces of some people, definitely we can say something, no? Why? Some people very happy and some people worry. Where is the worry or happiness? Where? In the farm or in the shoulder or somewhere? No. Where? In the mind. So that's why there is a reciprocity. There is a good combination between mind and physical body. When the happiness in our mind, it manifests through our physical body. In the same way, when the worry in our mind, it say no, our physical body. That's why when we see some people, we can understand, oh, this person isn't a happier person. This person has to worry because of worry or happiness in the mind. So if we really practice the teaching of the Buddha, then worry should be go out. So that's why in the fourth level, when we practice the teaching of the Buddha, the happiness comes to our mind. Then worry automatically removed. And then the fifth one is passaddhi. Passaddhi means the physical body become to more strength, more strong. And the sixth one is called the samadhi. Samadhi means the concentration. When we really practice the teaching of the Buddha, concentration become very easily toward us. Now, some people come to us and they say, Bhante or Venerable Sir, it is very difficult to concentrate the mind. Why? Sometimes we cannot concentrate our mind. Why?
Distractions.
Yeah, distraction. Sometimes we put lot of outside things in our mind, unnecessary things in our mind. But by practicing, we can discard, we can remove those unnecessary things one by one. So that's why we always have to practice meditation. So the last one is called the upekka. I think sometimes you know the meaning of upekka. What is the meaning of upekka? Upekka means the equanimity. In Buddhist tradition, we emphasize two kinds of meditation. The samatha meditation and vipassana meditation. Samatha means the tranquility. Vipassana means the higher level. The tranquility means when we become to the highest level, that means no worry, no happiness in our mind. For example, the Buddha and liberated one, no? In our language we call the Arahant. Buddha and liberated one, they had no worry, no happiness. Sometimes we are very happy, sometimes we are very worried. We have to worry. Why? We are not really become to the concentration. Buddha and liberated one became to really concentration. So that's why they did not claim to happiness as well as worry. Until we completely eradicate greed, hatred and delusion, we have to worry or happy. When we lost something, are we happy? No. We are worried. We have to worry. When we got something, are we worried? No. We are happy. But the Buddha, he was in the middle. Always no worry, no happiness. For example, once the Buddha was living in a certain temple and a woman came and blamed the Buddha. Now I am pregnant because of you. Then the Buddha never worried. He didn't care this matter. And once a millennia, he offered a temple. Maybe the value of temple 500 million. He didn't care it. He just used to sleep there. When we read the Buddhist canon, it shed the light. Then the Buddha mostly slept on a cave, sometime in the middle of the forest, sometime under a tree. He was the perfect person in this human history. He was a prince. He experienced the princess Lisa, but he already abandoned them. And at last he became to liberated person. So that is the nature of the liberated person. So there is a good combination between morality and wisdom. The highest level of the wisdom is called as liberation. In order to go to the highest level, we have to begin it from the bottom level. The bottom level is called the morality. Without morality, never reach to the highest level. There is a very nice incident in a particular sutra. Once a very famous Brahmin came to discuss with the Buddha. Then before he was thinking, if the Buddha asks a very deep question, I cannot answer because of I am going to with my people. And Buddha read the mind of that Brahmin. And the Buddha asks very simple question. Buddha asks, what are the reasons to be a good Brahmin? He said, there are 7 reasons to be a good Brahmin. Then when he explained, the Buddha asked, can you reduce one of them? He said, yes, I can reduce one of them. Can you reduce another one? He reduced another one. He cut off another one. And he remained 2 things, Sila and Prajna. Then the Buddha asked, can you cut one of them? He said, no. Without Sila, no wisdom. Without wisdom, no Sila. So, the Sila does a very vital role in order to become to the highest level. Liberation in terms of Buddhist. As Buddhist monk, we are following different discipline rule. As lay people, you have to follow different discipline rules. At least 5 precepts, 8 precept, 10 precept, enough to be a virtuous person, to be a moral person. But you have to follow it literally. Otherwise, just following at least 5 precepts, you cannot get the real result. So, in Buddhist tradition, if anyone try to protect, try to preserve 5 precepts, definitely he is a happy person, happiest person. And that happiness definitely concern to concentrate his mind, and definitely he is able to achieve liberation. At the end, in the end of this sutta, the Buddha explained, if anyone really practice those 7 factors of enlightenment within this life, he is able to achieve the liberation. So that's why many people during the time of the Buddha achieved the liberation. But in terms of Buddhist, we have to go a circle. If we are not able to achieve the liberation within this short time, sometimes today activities, sometimes the activities during the last time definitely concern with the next destination, and one day we are able to achieve the liberation. So according to this sutta, it can be emphasized, we have to be virtuous person, we have to be moral person as far as possible to live happily, as well as one day to achieve the liberation. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Khemananda. If you have any question.
I'll just say, I missed the 5th piece of the journey to liberation. Mindfulness, investigation,
yeah.
effort.
Sati, Dhamma, Virya, Piti, Passaddhi, Samadhi, Upekka. You mean the 6th one?
Well, I thought it was the 5th one.
The Passaddhi, that the strength of the physical body as well as the mental body.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the first one, Sati means the mindfulness. Second one, the Dhamma means the investigation. The third one is the Virya, effort. And the fourth one,
Concentration.
fourth one, Piti means the joy, happiness. And the fifth one, the physical as mental, the strength. And the sixth one, concentration. And the seventh one, the equanimity.
Thank you.
Yes.
Question. You mentioned the story when Buddha went to a town, or an aristocrat went up to him, and the aristocrat told him there's 7 ways.
Sorry?
You mentioned that, and aristocrat went to meet the Buddha,
Yeah.
and he told him there are 7 ways to be a good monk, I believe. And he knocked down 1, 2, 3, and he stayed with 2.
Yes.
Yes. Which I didn't know the translation of the which 2 he refers to.
Sila,
Something with wisdom. If you don't have this, you have no wisdom.
Wisdom.
Prajna.
Mindfulness.
The morality and wisdom.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, the completion of the wisdom is called the liberation. Okay. So, in order to become to the liberation, in order to come to the highest level of the wisdom, the morality is needed.
Yes.
What are the 5 precepts of morality?
5 precepts, huh? 5 precepts?
Yes.
Yeah, it's I think it's simple, no? Yeah. The first one, not to kill,
Yeah.
because the panatipata. Then the second one, adinadana, not to steal. Then the kamesu michachara, not the adultery. And the musavada, not to lie. And the fifth one, suramere,
Natata.
no alcohol.
No.
So, 5 precepts, even it seems very simple, but it's very important to live happily, no? Even you can save a lot of money because of no alcohol.
Bhante, I had a question. For the lay people like us, to achieve enlightenment, it seems it's too hard.
Yes.
So, what should we do? We just keep the 5 precepts, the morality, and doing the meditation. Is it can help us?
Yes,
to,
definitely, yeah.
To get some happiness.
Yes, yeah.
So I think as time is will pass very soon. So you can ask when we have a tea break, you can have a question with Venerable. And again, I say thank you so much for your talk. It's wonderful. We will start page